Tonight I am doing a video. It is around 11 o'clock on Wednesday. I shot something the other night for sunset, and I wanted to show people how to composite a shot, or actually not even composite, really just work with a RAW. I see a lot of people saying they need to take 3 brackets. Yeah, you can merge HDR and do all kinds of stuff, but the whole thing is you can do a lot with just one RAW file. So I'm going to keep this video short and kind of sweet. Now look, we have, say, an image like this. I shot JPEG plus RAW, which I always do, because just in case, and the files are small enough that you can get away with it. So right now we have this DNG file that I worked with in a previous little, here, let me see if I can airdrop it quickly. Hold on one moment. I think I have it here. I do. So here, I'm going to send this to my computer. AirDrop, Zoom, and I'm going to go ahead and open. I'll just show in Finder. There we go. So you see that? That image is from one RAW file, meaning that image was done quickly on my iPad Pro with an image like this. So let's go ahead and show you how to do it. So with a RAW file, you can get a lot more data, meaning information, out of your file. So you have more range you can pull out of it. A JPEG you can't. JPEG's going to look like doo-doo balls. DNG, meaning RAW, will look good. So I'm going to open it up in Photoshop, and you can see here I got the little highlight exposure thing on. I'm going to toggle that off. I'm just going to expose quickly, just a little bit of saturation, maybe pull down the highlights a little bit. Once I pull down the highlights, I'm going to maybe do brightness a little bit. And let's just keep the sky really simple, nothing crazy, too much, and call it a day. Not even that. Like if I do that, it gets a little more blue. I think this is just a little bit more natural. So right now we have that, right? So we can do this and leave it and work as a smart object. So I can do this here. I'm going to show you 2 different ways. So I got a smart object, which is like a vector type object, meaning it's not rasterized, meaning I could go and double click this and get right back into the Camera Raw plugin dialog box, which gives me the power of working on this file. So I'm going to cancel out of that. But if I do have the smart object, which is this little thing right here, I can go ahead and right click and do new smart object via copy. And if I double click this again, now I can just expose the bottom part, meaning, you know, the foreground. So boom, really quickly. Maybe I want to warm it up a teeny bit. I don't know. We'll see. But look at, I'm 4 stops opened up on a RAW. Now pay attention to that. 4 stops. That's pretty darn crazy. So now what I can do is make a layer mask. So watch. I can either do what I did, I think, in Lightroom was kind of do this, and I can either paint or I can use the gradient tool and do something like that. Boom. Let me see. No. And then I can maybe use the brush tool. Oop. Do a soft brush. Oop. Nope, wrong one. And then maybe do like a little feathering. Not even that, but something like that. I'm just showing you without a lot of work what you can do quickly. That doesn't look super natural. Let me warm this up a little bit down below. It takes a little finessing to kind of get it there. I'm going to use a lower opacity brush, and you can just kind of paint in your exposure. So let me see. Boom. No, that doesn't look good. But you kind of get the idea. And I feel like I did a better job on my iPad. But regardless, what I can do now is flatten this, and I can just go ahead and add maybe a little filter, meaning another effect to kind of almost blend what I just did. So I kind of made that look a little bit unnatural, but if I add a little filter to it or one more little move, maybe I can do something like that, which is kind of cool, but I don't like the color of this. It looks kind of weird. Let me see. I'm going to go into develop. But as you see, this is not so simple what I just did. It's doing more finessing and toggling, but there we go. That's going to be the more extreme sky and stuff. But you can see, as an example, just how much you can get out of an image. This is really pushed, mind you. But look at what I did from that. So it's kind of an extreme. Boom, boom. Crazy. I mean, of course, this is probably a little bit too much, but you know what? People love too much. That's the reality, especially on Facebook and stuff. Who cares? I mean, if you see a sunset and it looks really beautiful and vibrant to you, why not make it a little bit more emphasized and overly dramatic and kind of punchy? Because to me, this is how I see stuff. I almost see life in vivid technicolor. That's just how my vision is. That's how my brain perceives it, at least. But let's go ahead and do one more thing. So again, mind you, take a peek at that. This is the raw file. This is why you shoot raw, for those who are questioning. But I'm going to go ahead and just get right back here. Let me take a screenshot of that just for kicks. Boom. And I do this sometimes too when I share stuff. I do a little screenshot. But let's get out of there and just delete and go back to square one. So, okay, I'm going to go in to this again. And now what I can do is tweak the sky, right? I think I already tweaked the sky. So say I do that. That's the sky. I can hit right now, and this is the same in Lightroom, so you guys are aware too, which is on your iPad, on your phone. You have this little tool, this masking tool, and I can do a linear gradient. So what I do now is create this mask and simply click that, and then I just draw in that red area. I'm kind of using a Wacom tablet, so I'm controlling this with my stylus. But if I go something like that, you're going to see the part right towards the top kind of feather off. So that's what I want. So now I can just expose for the bottom area, and then I can kind of finesse this, move it up a little bit. I can move this down, maybe make it a little bit, you know, something like that maybe. Let's see. But you see what I'm doing, and you see kind of the ease of pulling a lot out of your file if you want to. You don't have to go that crazy where it's that maybe much of a difference, but just know you can if you want. And let me go ahead and warm this up a teeny bit because it's a nice warm sunset, so I'd probably want a little bit warmer foreground area there. You know, maybe you can pull in the blacks a little bit. Maybe you can make the contrast a little bit higher. Let me see if dehaze. I mean, you can do whatever you want. Just know that you can do this only with a raw file. So boom. So now we have that to this, and that's with the raw. Let me just show you quickly, because I can, if I tried to do that with the JPEG. So I'm going to take the same JPEG, this 3.0, boom, and let me just Command J to a new layer, and I'm going to go into the Camera Raw dialog box by going into here. Now let me try the same thing. Okay, watch. You can see already the sun doesn't look as good because the camera kind of did some in-camera processing. But let me go ahead and do the same gradient. Maybe I'll be surprised, but I don't think I will. And let me try to pull. Watch, it's going to look better. Cool. Let me see. Hold on. So I'm going to go ahead and move this guy. I'm going to go ahead and hit the saturation, warm it up a little bit. Actually, it doesn't look horrible compared to the sky. But you see the sky, everything holds a little bit better, especially this zone right here. So watch this too. If you try to recover this blown out part, guess what? You're not going to be able to. So let me just hide that layer really quickly and show you. If I go ahead and go into the Camera Raw and I try to recover those highlights, look what happens. It just looks so bad. So there's nothing you can do. You just can't recover blown out highlights like you can with the raw file. So this is basically it. I just want to show you what to do and why to do it. Don't even bother with sunset shots and shots that are a little bit more complex with JPEG because it's just going to look bad. You don't need to go ahead and take 3 file captures or whatever, the auto exposure bracket kind of thing. You can literally take one average raw file. Again, this doesn't look that great in my opinion. It's kind of a little bit too tweaked, but just know we can go ahead and do a little modification on it. Say I want to bring the saturation down a little bit. I don't know. Whatever. You can go ahead and do a little bit whatever you want. So let me maybe go ahead and see, not optics. Where is it? Effects. You know, maybe a little vignette. I usually don't love vignettes, but sometimes it helps draw focus towards the center. But that looks good. I like the vignette there. It kind of lessens the overall, like it's too much and too bright all over. This is a little bit better feel. So you can't do this with the JPEG. You know, the sun looks pretty good. It doesn't look super gross. You have a nice kind of gradient over there. So hope this helps. Play around. Definitely shoot raw. And let me know if you have any questions or comments in the section below. And if you guys are wanting to know how to get to that smart object, just so you know, right here, if I double click and I get into this, I click this little bottom section towards the bottom of the camera raw dialog box. So right now I click that and you can see open Photoshop and smart object. You can click that, which I always have checked. And I'm going to just cancel out of that. And if you want to not open it up as a smart object, you can just hit the Option key and it will just open it up as a regular rasterized file. Or no, I think it's, you can hit the Shift key, Option will do the open copy. So you just have all kinds of little different things you can do. But I always work with smart objects. You can get back into this camera raw dialog box and I can go ahead and open this and do new smart object via copy. I can do like 3 of them. So I can do one just for the sky. I can do one for the foreground. I can do one just for this train. I can do one for the houses. You can really get crazy with like layer masks and stuff, and it gets a little bit more confusing if you're not familiar. But just know that they're very powerful. You may want to look into it a little bit. And that's it, guys. Hope this helps. Subscribe. Aloha. Peace. Bye.